Hello and welcome from the sidelines of the ICR Conference 2023 here in Orlando, Florida. I'm Jarrett Banks, editor-at-large of IPO Edge, CorpGov, and Exec Edge, joined by my illustrious guest here, Michael Prince, the CEO of the US Polo Association Global Licensing. Talk us through that title, Michael.
Jarrett, first of all, thank you for having me here. It's a great conference and it's an honor to be on your platform. So the business, it's a for-profit corporation, and we run the US Polo ASS brand, which is the official brand of the United States Polo Association. And you might say, well, what does all that mean? What that means is that we've got a $2 billion global footprint worldwide with the brand. But we also are very close to what the sport does as well. I want to make an announcement on your platform that we just did a global news release on Newswire or on Global Wire Service, announcing a 2-year relationship with ESPN to broadcast 7 of the most illustrious championship games in the United States to a global audience. And so that's another aspect of what we do. We do a global brand, we do ESPN sports platform, and then our parent company, the USPA, founded in 1890, the governing body of the sport, recently spent roughly $100 million and bought what's considered the nicest polo venue in the world. So that's sort of our global ecosystem and who we are. And we're based in West Palm Beach, Florida. So it's an easy drive to come up to Orlando and meet with you guys and tell the story.
Fantastic. Now, this really is a global sport here. Tell us a little bit more about that. What is the total addressable market here?
So the sport is truly a global sport, and the history of the sport is really interesting. I know you guys are doing some unique interviews this week around sports. Well, this is the world's first extreme sport. It was founded in 600 BC in Persia. So it's been around for, 2,600 years. And so, we're very proud of that. And it's a small sport from a fan base perspective because it's more niche. But we believe with the importance of the sport and what it has to offer sports fans, consumers, that we believe the base will grow exponentially. And that's why I believe ESPN also partnered with us on this, because we see the untapped potential of the sport on a global scale. And if you think about the sport, right now it's played in the United States for the next 3 to 4 months. The US is the epicenter of the sport, specifically South Florida. And then it moves to Europe and the UK, and then wraps up the year in Argentina, where the best players play in the most elite tournament in the world. But it has a huge reach as a sports opportunity. And then as a brand, we're in 190 countries worldwide. And we like to say where the sport goes, the brand goes, and where the brand goes, the sport goes. And so the reach from a consumer perspective is 200 countries roughly.
Okay, now you mentioned the ESPN deal, obviously,
Which I'm a little bit excited about.
this is massive for you. Talk to us a little bit more. Give us the details.
So we beta tested with ESPN in 22. And we said, let's pick a couple games to broadcast. Let's get consumer feedback, sports feedback, get your feedback. And let's just say things went very well. And a great example of that, I have a friend that was in a sports bar in Miami. And he looked up and said, you know what? Every screen had on a polo game. And another friend said, I was at a place where he had pro football on and then polo on as well. And so we knew that we had something special here. And we sit down as partners and said, hey, let's think about the future. And both agreed to highlight 6 very high profile games that covers college, women's and men's finals. By the way, 50 college teams play the sport of polo. Probably didn't know that. We're highlighting our most prestigious women's event, several of our professional events, and then what we're really excited about is the international event, the US and England, which is the oldest game in the world right now. So it's that rivalry has been going on longer than anywhere else, and we're excited about that. And then obviously the US Open, which happens in April,
Right.
in Palm Beach County. It's the most prestigious tournament in North America. So you have to be there if you can make it.
Fantastic. We'll be there.
Be there.
So tell us a little bit about the fan base and, how big can this sport be?
Sport has huge potential. And the misconception about the sport is it is for a rich, elitist fan base and participants. And that's actually not true. The sport's very accessible. And one of the reasons we're here is that we want to talk to people about the accessibility of the sport to play, to go to games. And I think through the ESPN broadcast and through our brand, we're going to be able to share that even more. And then just think about 50 collegiate teams. They're all those people are playing the sport. Each team has four members, male and female. And they're successful at the college level, at the youth level. Even as you get older, you can get out and play at different levels. So we think it's extremely accessible and are excited about sharing that story.
Okay, great. Now, tell us a little bit about the competitive landscape here and how you differentiate yourself.
Well, so when I look at the landscape, we have to look at the landscape from two perspectives, sport and fashion. When I look at the but very few brands are sport inspired fashion. And that's what we are. And I think that really makes us unique in the marketplace because as a consumer, especially the younger consumers, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, the young millennials, authenticity matters more so than maybe it did in my generation. What does that mean? It means if you're connected to a sport, that means something. Oh, by the way, we're also in the largest philanthropic brands in the world. The sport's a nonprofit. A lot of the proceeds go back to the sport, but we do a lot in the philanthropic community as well globally to give back. So as once again, a young consumer, what also matters, giving back to the environment, giving back to philanthropy. We also do that. So when you look at our consumer base worldwide, 60% of our consumer base is young millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and they really resonate with the brand. And the last thing I love to talk about is, I look at us as the working men and women's brand. We're a great price to value proposition. So in a global recession, which, times are tough right now, it gives you the opportunity to get a great international brand that's sport inspired at a great value for your son, for your daughter, for your boyfriend, for your girlfriend, for your wife, and husband.
Fantastic. Now, I feel like sports got a lot of people through the pandemic.
Yes.
Personally speaking, how did you guys weather that storm? How did you come through it?
It was interesting. So we had our most prestigious tournament happening in March of 2020, and we were actually one of the last sporting venues to be going on in the country. And then we canceled our last game in 2020. We reset. You know what? I think it made us better. I think it made us appreciate the ability to get back out there and participate as athletes in competition. I think it made us smarter about how do we think about the future around the sport. So we reset. And the great thing about polo is that you can be outside. The football or the fields the size of like football fields.
Right.
You can be out in the open. And it allowed us to kind of reactivate faster than maybe some other sports. But we've seen tremendous momentum around the sport, participation, interest at all levels, whether it's on broadcast, all the way to be there in person. So we feel like we're in a good position to move it forward.
Let's talk a little bit about the next generation. How do you get, juniors to rise through the ranks up to that level?
Oh, you're getting me excited now. I love talking about the youth and the college players. Their families, a lot of them have played, but we're also introducing the sport to families that haven't played before. And you'll see 10 and 12-year-olds out there playing, learning slowly how to adjust and play to high school. And then the college program's really taken off. The fact that we've got 50 collegiate clubs playing all over the country. And what I love about our college program, I always say it's West Coast to East Coast.
Right.
It's private and public. It's small and large. And every school gets treated the same that we participate with. And so, it's another example of the accessibility of the sport. And then something else that happens with the sport, most people think of big green fields and fancy places. But there's the fastest growing part of the sport is called arena polo. In arena polo, you play in a smaller venue in an arena, 3 players instead of 4. So it requires less resources, less horses, and it's a fast game, and it allows more people access to the sport. So you're seeing that grow as well. I'm really excited about that aspect of it.
Okay, great. Last question. What are you most excited about for 2023?
I'm really excited about the announcement with ESPN. I think that is a game changer. And I think it gives sports fans something different to watch. And I love sports. I love all sports. But now imagine the ability to watch the sport of polo on your app, on your television, on your laptop. The other thing I'm extremely excited about as part of our ecosystem is the fact that now we own one of the nicest polo venues in the world. and the ability to elevate that over the next 2 or 3 years and bring people like yourself in for a great consumer experience and a great sports experience, unlike anything you may see out there as well. And we want it to be our version of the Kentucky Derby and the Masters every year in April with the US Open.
All right, fantastic. This has been Michael Prince, the CEO of the USPA GL. I'm Jarrett Banks, signing off from Orlando.